Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kia Hyundai channel. My name's Gabi and today we're talking Tucson. That is the 2026 Hyundai Tucson in the Ultimate trim level. Now here in Canada, this is the fully loaded option. If you want all the bells and whistles, all the tech and safety, this is the one to choose. Today we have the regular hybrid, but it's worth noting that you can get this exact car with the plug-in hybrid powertrain instead, and we can talk a little bit about that in today's video, because if you guys are new to the channel, I actually daily drive a Tucson plug-in hybrid. I have about a 47-kilometer commute, and I do it all on electricity. Come to work, plug it in again, do my whole commute home, straight on EV range. But that might not make the most sense for everybody, and that's why the hybrid is a fantastic option too. So let's first get you guys familiar with the price. It has an MSRP of $47,799 Canadian. That is the base MSRP before taxes and fees. Now the color we have here today is a bit of a fun one too. I think it's been a very long time since we've had this blue here at our studio. It's called Deep Sea Blue. It's a $250 paint charge, but I will say, I think it's worth it. She looks very good. We'll start off our walkthrough on the front end of the vehicle with the lights off, and then we'll wake the car up. We'll turn on our hazard lights, our turn signals, the full high beams, and regular headlamps, and I get the full picture. Now with the lights off, I want to point out the grille, because these four elements of our grille here are actually lights. These are lenses that are dark chrome painted, so it gives the illusion that it's just a piece of the grille. Flows in towards the center where we have a matte black Hyundai emblem and a forward-facing camera. Now this forward-facing camera is one of the many exterior cameras you'll find on your vehicle. We've got one in the front, two on the sides, and then one of course in the rear that piece together a full 360-degree image. So only available in the Ultimate is where you'll get that 360-degree view. Hyundai calls it their surround view monitor. On top of the camera image, you also have ultrasonic parking sensors. So you'll find 4 of these circular sensors around your front end on your bumper, one more towards our side, and then we also have some on our wheel arches. That will give you an audible alert inside the cabin to let you know when you're getting a bit too close to something. So we have coverage on the front end of your vehicle, on the side, but also on the rear. So it's very, very helpful, especially if you're parking in a garage or just you do a lot of city driving with parallel parking. This is a lifesaver. For the rest of the exterior design, you'll notice there's quite a bit of this gunmetal satin tone. I was about to say chrome, but it's certainly not chrome. One thing I will point out about this being satin and not a gloss portion is as far as scratches and overall durability goes, it will be far more forgiving than if it was finished in all gloss black for its exterior elements. So I very much appreciate it. My car still looks good and I've been driving it highway every single day. The lower end for our lower grille, we have horizontal slats, and off towards the passenger side, you'll notice a big rectangular portion. Now that is actually what we have for our safety systems in the vehicle, or I guess one piece of it. We're familiar with the cameras, but that rectangle is a radar plate that is utilized for both our smart cruise control as well as our highway driving assist. Now the difference between the two, because they often get confused, is smart cruise control allows you to turn on your cruise, set your speed, and then set your following distance. So it's the following distance that differentiates it from a regular style cruise control. When the vehicle ahead of you slows down or you come to full stop and go traffic, that's where the car takes over and will actually slow you down and bring you right back up to speed. There's 4 preset following distances to choose from, and then the vehicle, again, just responds automatically. All right, and highway driving assist utilizes that same logic, so it's not going to get too close to the car ahead of you without slowing down or coming to a stop. But it also uses this nav data to make sure it can not change lanes, but follow the lane ahead of you, and if it should slow down if there's a big bend in the road. So the car has that intelligence from the nav, but it also has our safety systems like our camera in the windshield and that radar plate to always keep you at a safe distance. Now that we have our full headlamp unit on, you can see those grille pieces I mentioned earlier are illuminated, and those are your daytime running lights. So all 4 pieces here illuminate all day. Lower on here is where we have our typical low and high beam. So we do get a projector style upgrade on the Ultimate trim line. It is the only model of the Tucson that has projectors, and pretty much what that means is you're going to have a sharper beam of light. So this is good if you do a lot of driving at night, which here in Canada, that's 5 p.m. in the winter. You can really see where you're going, and it's not too widespread of a beam, so it's a bit more precise. That's about it for our front end as far as exterior styling goes. Of course, because this is a live stream, if you have any questions or if there's something you want me to circle back on, let me know, and we can always go ahead and do that towards the end of the video. Next up though, let's talk powertrain. So a lot of people don't necessarily think hybrid and power, but if you're shopping on the Tucson lineup, when you upgrade to the hybrid instead of the regular gas model Tucson, we actually have quite a big performance boost. This is a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that's also paired with a 47.7 kilowatt electric motor. Top of that, we also have a higher voltage battery. It's 1.49 kilowatt hours, and we get a grand total of 231 horsepower with 271 pound-feet of torque. Now, in comparison to the regular gas Tucson, which by no means is a bad car, that's quite the performance boost. For contrast, the regular gas Tucson uses a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, so larger displacement, and only produces 187 horsepower with 178 pound-feet of torque. So more efficiency with this powertrain and more power. If you like that extra pep in your step, this might be the way to go. And you'll save money at the gas pump. But of course the car is more expensive too, I do want to say that. All right, next let's talk about the transmission. Can't exactly show you it, but we do have a 6-speed automatic, and there are paddle shifters mounted on your steering wheel, which we'll show you on the interior portion. We'll take a look at our wheels next, and these are our 19-inch alloys that are exclusive to our Ultimate trim line. So both the hybrid and plug-in hybrid have the same alloy design. Your front brakes are ventilated discs, of course going to be larger. And while this vehicle is all-wheel drive with terrain modes, we do have a primarily front-wheel drive bias, and that's great for fuel efficiency. If the vehicle is running all-wheel drive all the time, it would consume a whole lot more fuel. Now with this all-wheel drive system, the car automatically adjusts, so if it senses you need a little bit more power to the rear, it'll supply it on demand. You don't have to do anything as a driver. But because we do have terrain modes, there is snow, mud, and sand to choose from, and those can be very helpful if you find yourself driving in those situations. Our tire is a Michelin all-season. Tire size is 235/55 R19s. Wheel arch is finished in a matte black plastic, which I'm so thankful for because a lot of cars will have a gloss black here, and that's honestly where most of the debris gets kicked up from the road, so you'll see a lot of scratches with that piano black. Not so much with this though. More durable, baby. Next up, let's talk our windshield. Doesn't look too special, but there's a lot going on over here. Number one, the glass itself is an acoustic laminated glass, so that's meant to give an extra layer of sound deadening. And then in the very center, we have a camera. That camera monitors the vehicles ahead of you and will alert you if there's a risk of a collision, while the vehicle itself can also apply brake force to avoid a crash. It also gives a little bit of steering assistance too, thanks to the lane keeping and lane following assist systems. Essentially, they're two separate lane safety functions that often get confused. Lane keeping alerts you with a chime if you start to depart, and it gently nudges your steering wheel, while lane following assist sees those changes and it operates in advance. So if there's a bend in the road, you'll feel your steering wheel accommodate that bend. It's like a cruise control for your steering, and I love it. I use it every day. Our mirrors are next. They're body color. And we have satin chrome detailing for the arm itself. At the very bottom, you'll notice we have a camera, and of course that's repeated on the driver's side. Every time you go to indicate a lane change, you'll get a live camera view of whatever's happening in your blind spot. So pedestrians, cyclists, other cars while you're merging on the highway. You can see it all on your gauge cluster as a driver, and of course the vehicle will chime to alert you if there's a risk of someone being there, trying to make a lane change or a turn. Now, a lot of vehicles will have this function. So that camera is just an enhancement to just the regular warning that you'll see here with our light. Your door handles up at the front do have proximity entry, although it may not look like it. Instead of having a button here, we now reach for the handle like you're about to open the car, and as long as the key is on you, the vehicle will sense the key's in proximity and unlock for you. And then when you're done driving, you want to exit your car, you'll just tap the end of the door handle and it locks. Very handy feature, especially here in Canada where we wear a lot of layers in the winter. You might forget what layer you put your key in. Doesn't even matter. As long as you're close to your car, you can get in, no problem. Or you can use your phone, because we also have digital key that lets you pair your phone to your car, and if your phone has ultra wideband technology, same idea. As long as you're in proximity, unlock, lock your car, and even start it with just your phone on you. Now our pillars along our rear, here we have a little bit more satin chrome. And then for the window pillars themselves, a tiny bit of gloss black, but the belt line of the car is just our regular black plastic. All right, now let's come along to the rear. Can't necessarily show you the suspension, but it is a multi-link rear suspension, and your rear brakes are solid disc brakes. The back end of the Tucson is beautifully done, I must say. The taillights have a very dark housing, so it almost gives the illusion of a tinted tail lamp, even though you're not sacrificing your safety. It's still completely visible. They're also LED taillights. I'll actually hop in the car and hit the brakes for you guys so you can see them in action. Then we'll do the same with our turn signals. Alrighty. The car is on. Here are our hazard lamps, aka your turn signals. And then I'll hit the brakes. You guys can see your brake lamp illuminated. And Mark, if you don't mind walking up to the front, we can also get a glimpse of our side marker indicators. So those are mounted on your mirrors. Great visual for people driving a lot on the highway, changing lanes. People beside you can see it, people ahead of you can see it, and people behind you too. Then we have our front end hazard lamps currently on, but of course what you see flashing in amber is also your turn signal indicator. I'm so sorry you guys had to hear all of that clicking from me sitting back here. All right, let's talk about our cargo area next. This is something that really impressed me on the Tucson. It's very, very spacious. It's also very easy to use. It is a smart power lift gate on our Ultimate trim line. So that means if the key is on you or your phone, you can simply just press on a release here and it opens right up. You can also use your key fob to do the same thing. Or if you want to make it a truly convenient experience, as long as the key is on you and you walk up to your car, we have something called a smart trunk feature where it senses you're in range and automatically opens it for you. So you don't have to drop your stuff to reach for the button or your key. You don't have to risk your balance by kicking underneath to trigger a sensor. It just senses you're here and opens right up. For our cargo space, however, because this is just a 2-row vehicle, we have so much usable space. We'll have the exact liter dimensions in our description if you're curious about the size. Now, when someone says the liters of a cargo capacity to me, that it really does nothing in my brain. I can't visualize it. But take it from example. This is full extension. Check that out. We're nowhere near the edge. Lots of space. These rear seats, they do have the ability to recline too, so if you want to prioritize your passenger comfort, they can adjust their seats, get a little more comfy, or you can fold them down completely because each side of our cargo area has a pull lever that'll knock them down. The right-hand side is where you have your 60 portion of the 60-40 split, and each seat has car seat tethers. All right, let me get out of here so I can show you guys some of the other amenities of the cargo area. If you take a look at our front corners here, there's a small hook that is meant for a cargo net, essentially allowing you to hold your stuff down so it doesn't roll around while you're driving. I'd imagine that'd be very helpful if you're someone who does sports. Maybe you coach sports, soccer balls, you can hold them all down. Let me know what else you guys use that for. That's the only thing I can really visualize. The left-hand side is where we have an LED cargo lamp. It doesn't do too much to look impressive during the day while we're filming, but at nighttime it really does brighten up the space. And then we also have a 12-volt inverter for any sort of accessory you might want to power from your car. Under the floorboard, we have a tire mobility kit. Now, the hybrids and plug-in hybrids do not get a spare tire like the gas variations. Could you fit a spare? Probably not. It would have to go in your main cargo area. But a mobility kit is great if all that happened was you picked up a nail or a screw and you're just starting to lose pressure. But if you do experience a full blowout, we do have 5 years, unlimited kilometers of complimentary roadside assistance here in North America. So that is a great, great thing to have by default. I'll talk about one more thing on the rear end, and that is the fact that our rear wiper is hidden beneath the spoiler. So not only does it really clean up the look of the vehicle's rear end, I always feel uncomfortable saying that on camera, but it also hides it from snow and ice, so you won't have to pick snow and ice off your rear wiper. Bonus, lasts a whole lot longer. And then towards our driver's side, rear is where we'll find our fuel door. So fuel door passenger side, driver side, I just said that. We have a 52-liter tank. Now it's slightly smaller on the hybrid, or the plug-in hybrid I should say, compared to the regular hybrid. The plug-in hybrid has a 42-liter tank, but keep in mind you also have that electric range. So you might find yourself fueling up a whole lot more if you drive the plug-in hybrid, but you don't plug it in every day, versus the regular hybrid will get you a little further on a little bit of a larger tank. Now for our interior, I'll have Mark give a quick pan on the inside before I hop in. We have our black interior option here today, and it's a beautiful leather finish. You got heated and ventilated seats up at the front for both driver and passenger, and both of them are also powered. Now for the driver's seat itself, you can see we have our height adjustment, our backrest, and also two-way lumbar support. And the best part is it's linked to your memory seat saves. The memory seat controls are located on the door card itself. And while there's only 2 buttons, you actually have 6 different saves because the vehicle's head unit has something called driver profiles where you can set yourself as the driver, maybe you have a secondary driver or a guest, and you have 2 saves per each of those user profiles. For the bottom portion of our door card, we have our Bose premium sound system, and there are 8 Bose speakers throughout the vehicle's cabin. We also have some nice Tucson deluxe door sills. There is a little bit of piano black in the cabin, I will admit. After living with it for a little while, I'm reminded that piano black might not be my favorite, but it's not in too many areas of the car, so I can forgive it. So as you can see here, surrounding our switch controls for our windows and mirrors, it's housed in piano black, but the buttons themselves are still just our regular satin matte black. Everything is backlit here, of course, so at nighttime you can see what you're trying to control. We got our mirrors up at the front, then our door locks, and then express windows for both driver and passenger up at the very, very front. The door itself for your armrest is all soft touch material, so it feels very premium, and that's the same up here too. You got a little bit of fabric, a little bit of this artificial leather finish. That always sounds nice, but it does feel good. It is a very luxurious cabin. Now Mark will join me on the passenger side and we'll talk what amenities we get, what our driver assistance functions look like, and our screens too. All right, so I will say this vehicle is a brand new unit and it hasn't been driven at all except to our dealership. So we did have a dead battery earlier today. It's also minus 10 degrees outside. But Mark, do you mind showing the power passenger seat?
Sure.
So we have a couple different adjustments here. There you go.
For your backrest.
Nice.
And then you also have height adjustments, which also tilt.
So very easy to find your perfect seat configuration. Now, before I wake everything up, I just want to highlight, you'll see a little bit of a golden tone here. That's because we have ambient lighting in the Tucson. So it extends in your center console area, as well as right up above this deck, right over your glove box. And you can customize that color to whatever your favorite is. It also saves to your driver profile too. So no fighting over who changed the ambient lighting to pink, purple, whatever you want. It's saved to their profile. Tell them to go into their own profile. Now that we've woken the car up, I'm going to talk about our main screen first. This is a 12.3-inch display, and it's a touchscreen. Very easy to navigate, super easy to use. You have your in-house nav system, but let's be honest, I know what you guys are really wondering. What about Apple CarPlay and Android Auto? Now, it is completely wireless on this vehicle. I use it every day, and it's slowly converting me into a wireless CarPlay fan. I used to be so anti. But it's very, very easy to use. All you got to do is have your phone on you. You can keep it in your bag or in your pocket. Projects directly onto this touchscreen here, and it uses the full landscape. Now, if you don't want to use that, that is a-okay. We have so many different media options. So Sirius XM, for example, but there's also FM, AM radio. Sorry, it's going to make me do the tutorial. Why don't I just have it do the video? Tons of different media options. There's also sounds of nature too, which gives you a bit of a ASMR type feel for your cabin. It plays forest sounds, birds chirping, cafe sounds. Pretty cool. Let's talk about the hybrid menu specifically. Of course, this will be a plug-in hybrid menu if you have the PHEV. Shows you your average fuel economy as well as where the vehicle is currently drawing power from. Right now, we don't have the vehicle fully powered on. It's just simply accessory mode, so it's not exactly accurate. But still pretty cool, especially if this is your first hybrid and you just want to learn a little bit more about it. I'm gonna wake the car back up. There we go. I'll take the camera from Mark while we talk about our gauge cluster and our steering wheel. The gauge cluster is another 12.3-inch display, except of course it's not a touchscreen. The left-hand side you'll have your speedometer, and then on the right you have your tach. It also gives you an eco and a power band to let you know where you're drawing most of your power from. So if you're more so in the power, of course your RPMs are going to be a little higher, and the vehicle is going to be less efficient. However, when you're in the lower portion here, sorry, it's going to keep giving me the battery warning. Mark, do you mind opening the garage a little bit? I'm just going to turn the car on completely and make sure we don't gas ourselves out. There we go. All right, so now the car will be a little bit more silent. It'll comply with me. There we are. So when the needle drops down into this charge range, that's where you'll get some power back from regenerative braking. So regen braking is quite cool. You have it on your hybrids, your plug-in hybrids, and your full EVs. Essentially, when your vehicle is driving, it is utilizing its electric motor, and in this case, also a gas engine. And that's power that's going. We also have a high voltage battery in a hybrid or plug-in hybrid, and that is capable of accepting charge. It takes its charge a few different ways. Number one, by the gas engine running, but number two, by regen braking. So every time you let off the accelerator, whether it's because you're gonna hit the brakes or you're just letting the car coast, you're actually replenishing a little bit of the charge back into your high voltage battery, even though you don't have a plug-in hybrid. So the car, instead of wasting it as a, wasted heat like your gas car would, it actually gives you a little something back. And that's not very common nowadays. Let's take a look back at our gauge cluster and talk about what we see in our very center. So in the very middle, we can adjust what's viewed. You can see your lane safety. And I'm just pressing this button here to change our different viewpoints. So lane safety, then we have our trip, and then we have our navigation. You can always go ahead and scroll by using this dial here, as long as the page you're currently viewing has multiple different options. It tells you what your car is currently doing here. You got your drive power distribution, as well as your tire pressure, your engine temp, and then everything else since last reset, since last refuel. The left-hand side of the steering wheel houses your Smart Cruise Control / Highway Driving Assist button. This top left icon allows you to turn it on or off, and then you set your speed with the plus and the minus. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and set your following distance with this bottom left icon here, and there's 4 different options to choose from. To the right, we have our Lane Centering Assist or Lane Following Assist, and by pressing this button, it'll turn on or off your lane safety system. So if you're not a fan of it, one quick press, you don't have to dig through any menus to shut it off, which makes it very easy. The right-hand side is reserved for media, so you got your voice commands, your volume controls, as well as your phone, and a favorites button. Favorites button's pretty much a shortcut button. It lets you make that button do whatever commands you want within the vehicle's capabilities, that is. So the first time you press it, it takes you to this menu here on the main page where you can pick what you'd like it to do, sports, weather, really whatever you'd like, and each of these options is linked again to the driver profile.
Can the middle part show radio song information on the dash?
Oh, so no, not in the way I think you guys want it to. Now, for my vehicle, I always use Apple CarPlay, and when I change a song, it'll tell me what I've changed to. It shows me on my heads-up display, actually, which I need to point out. But it doesn't give you an option to always view the current media you're listening to, which I would like to see. Maybe in a software update they can accommodate that, but it doesn't do it right now. Heads-up display is another point I wanted to mention. It's only on the Ultimate trim line. It tells you your current speed as well as the speed limit of the road that you're on, and you get a little glimpse of your lane safety here too. We'll talk mirror next. Now, a rear view mirror is an ECM, which means it's auto dimming, and we have integrated HomeLink controls as well, so garage door opener. Your overhead lights are LEDs. Again, not too impressive while we shoot our videos during the day, but at nighttime they really are bright. And then we have a massive panoramic sunroof expanding all the way to the rear. The glass itself stops about here. Ooh, you guys can tell I've done this a few times. But of course the cover is powered, so if you need to close it, push it forwards, it all closes together, which is handy. For space, I'm actually very impressed with the space because, again, I've done a few road trips with my Tucson, and it's just very accommodating. You got 2 USB-Cs up at the front. The one on the far left does both charging and data transfer. The one on the right is simply for charging, and then we have our 12-volt. There's this huge open section here, which is perfect for things like, gloves, hats, mittens, whatever you need really for winter or whenever, water bottles. And this portion here actually has a bit of a rubber surface, so whatever you put there shouldn't fly around or roll around too much. The center console is a floating style, so that allows you all that extra space underneath. And then what we have up here is very easy to use. So there's a drive mode select on the far left. This operates like a button. Each time you press it, it flips between drive or terrain modes. So let's go through the options. Eco mode, sport mode, and my drive. Eco and sport are pretty, self-explanatory. It'll either prioritize being a bit more fuel efficient, so shifting a little earlier to keep your RPMs lower, or sport mode will hold it a bit longer to get the most out of the power band. My drive, though, lets you customize what you want your car to do. So if you want it to have slightly sporty steering, but you want it to otherwise operate in eco mode, you can go ahead and adjust it. A few different options we can do with the drive mode select. Then for terrain, we have snow, mud, and sand. Now each one utilizes a predetermined torque distribution split. Some of them even turn off or on your downhill brake control and your stability control too. So let's say you're in the mud, you want a little bit more wheel spin, and your vehicle will automatically shut that off to accommodate driving in the mud. Snow mode, however, it is not a full 50-50 torque split. It's usually more so 80-20. And then if the car senses you need more power to the rear, it does accommodate it, but it's not going to be full 50-50. Right over here, we have our wireless phone charger. It's slightly raised to get better airflow for your phone, won't overheat. Then we have 2 standard size cup holders and a few more controls here, one of which is auto hold. We have our downhill braking assist or control, and then our park view camera and our park sensors. So your parking camera, on the far right, you have your drop down view, and then right in front or right in the center, we're viewing our front facing camera. You can also go ahead and switch to your back camera. Of course, if you were currently reversing your vehicle, it defaults to show your rear view anyway. Center console right behind. It's very, very deep, very, very spacious center console. I'm happy we have a true center console on the Tucson. And Mark will show you guys the glove box, and we'll also talk about the little storage deck above it, the shelf.
Just got my Tucson plug-in hybrid. What can I do with voice control?
Ooh, you can do so much with the voice control. So, of course, if you're using the voice control and it's linking to your Siri or your phone's assistant, it kind of limits what the car can really do, and it's more so just based off the current media you're using. But if you're using the proper Hyundai voice commands, you can say things like, open my smart liftgate, if you're parked, that is. You can change the ambient light color. There's a lot you can do there. You can also set routes on the navigation system, call people, the standard stuff, but there's a lot of other things people don't necessarily think about, like the tailgate. I know if I had opened my tailgate, the last thing I would think of is to use my voice commands to do it, but you can. It's an option. One more thing I'll point out to you guys are the paddle shifters. So on the far left, you have your negative one, downshift. Far right, we have our upshift. Of course, this changes with regenerative braking. Can't show you right now because we're in park, but you can go ahead and increase or decrease the sensitivity of the regen. We also have this little guy over here. Now this monitors your eyes. I have to say, and Hyundai, if you are watching this, I'm sorry, but after living with the Tucson for a little while, I've noticed when you wear sunglasses, maybe it's just different kinds of sunglasses, it doesn't recognize that the driver's paying attention because your eyes are blocked. That sucks because you can't utilize your highway driving assist or some of the functions you normally would. So I'm not a fan of it overall, but it only triggers when I'm wearing sunglasses, and I don't do it often. But I know a lot of people with transition lenses, that's probably a big pain in the butt. So no more of this, please. Or make it recognize sunglasses.
Thank you, Steven, for the $2.
Yeah, thank you, Steven. All right, let's take a look at the back seats. All right, so now the 2 seats back here are heated. You got your controls or your switch located right on our door card. Silver painted door handles, that same soft touch leather material with a little bit of piano black. And then back here, as I mentioned earlier, these seats do recline. This one will move separately, and these 2 are fused together. Your very center seat, if not in use, does have a drop-down armrest with cup holders. And if you couldn't tell, it's very spacious back here. Seriously, very spacious. So I got a lot of space between my knees and the seat ahead of me. Legroom is a huge win in the Tucson. I've never had anyone complain that they're feeling cramped in my car. And the seats themselves back here are also very wide. So you got room for an adult to fit, you got room for car seats, pets, whatever you need. It is not a cramped cabin. The back of our center console has our air vents, and then we have our 2 USB-Cs for your rear passengers connectivity too. Their phones can also charge.
Keith White says the latest HOA update is supposed to improve the false positives when wearing sunglasses. We just got it last week.
Okay, I have to update my car then. All right, I'm going to take the camera from Mark. Mark, I might stay back here, but do you mind turning the car on? I want to mention the climate control. I realize I didn't talk to you guys about that. So the climate panel is right underneath some of our physical media controls. Sorry, you guys can see my reflection, this is so awkward. But on the far left, oh, my finger's not on camera. Far left, we have volume. Far right, we have our tune knob to cycle between different media. And then everything in the middle does exactly as it says. So nice physical controls, no menu digging. Far left knob is for driver temp. You can also select driver only specifically. So if it's just you in the car, you're commuting, you waste less energy heating or cooling the entire cabin. Then we have our passenger sync or passenger temperature control that you can also sync from. And then our heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats are all turned on from this panel here. So this is technically a screen, but it does give you some feedback when you do something. So you get that audible feedback. And it's actually it's something I've grown to really like on the car. At first, I wasn't doubting it or anything, but definitely wasn't used to it after driving a very, very old pickup truck. But I am starting to really like it. This is by far the most tech advanced car I've ever had or driven daily. And I'm starting to feel a little bit spoiled, but it's all, assistance functions or convenience functions that do improve my life. None of it's like, oh, this doesn't really have to be here. Okay, let's do a little bit of Q&A, see what you guys are wondering about the Tucson, if there's anything else we could show you or answer for you. There is a function done by our key fob, which I'll reach for. And that is remote smart parking assist. We have done a few separate videos just dedicated to the function alone. That's probably a better one to watch. But on our key fob, we got our lock, our unlock, as well as our remote start. So you can start your vehicle directly from the key fob. And then our panic button, which is your horn and your lights. On this side here, we have our remote smart park assist and our liftgate control. So liftgate right at the top, and then we can move our vehicle forwards or backwards from the key fob itself. In order to do remote smart park, you do have to remote start your car. So that is done by pressing lock and then pressing and holding the remote start button. Now that's not the only way you can start your vehicle. You can also do it from the BlueLink app, which is free for 3 years. And it actually lets you do whatever you really want to the vehicle in terms of customization. So if you want to start the car and it's a blistering hot day, but it's kind of a one-off day. Tomorrow's supposed to be nice and cool. You can set it to max out the AC, you can turn on your ventilated seats, whatever you want, all directly from your phone, and that can be done pretty much anywhere. So there's no, real distance restriction the way a key fob would. I don't know what Hyundai exactly quotes for their key fob range because it does vary by model, especially maybe if you have an older Tucson, but I think it's around 50 feet. You can correct me if I'm wrong, versus on your phone, you can do it really from anywhere in the province. It's a really good feature to have, especially come wintertime. Turn on your rear defrost, turn on your heated seat, heated steering wheel, you get in, you're nice and cozy. Just please make sure you still clear the snow off the rest of your car. Okay, Mark, do you want to come in? Please, there's so much space, come on in. Let's see what you guys want to know. Eduardo said, please like and subscribe. And I have to agree with Eduardo. He raises a very good point. Liking and subscribing is free. And in this economy, you got to take what you can get for free, man.
That's
so,
right.
you got to do what you got to do. I also see there's 79 of you guys on. So if we could get to 79 likes while we're still live, that would be amazing. When is the return of Leopard, Gabi? Who knows? Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we'll feel a little wild. I got asked if I'm enjoying the Tucson. I'm absolutely loving the Tucson, you guys. Honestly, I can't tell you how great it is from getting gas twice a week on a 74-liter tank to getting gas, once, twice a month maybe on a 47-liter tank, or 42. All I know is that it's way less expensive, and being able to charge at work really does make a big difference. I mentioned in the beginning of this video that I was going to talk a little bit about PHEV versus HEV, just maybe help determine which one's more right for you. Now, as far as equipment goes, whether you are getting the PHEV or the HEV, they're exactly the same. So the Ultimate is the only trim line you can get on the Tucson if you want a plug-in hybrid. So you're getting the same heated seat, ventilated seat, all that good stuff. The difference is your daily drive and also how much money you want to spend. Plug-in hybrid is going to be more expensive. It's just the way she rolls, I guess. But you do also get just over 50 kilometers of electric range on a full charge, and it does not cost a lot to charge this vehicle. The best part about a plug-in hybrid too is while you do have the benefits of being able to drive on fully electric range, you are not limited to that. So at the end of the day, once you fully deplete those 50 plus kilometers, you still have a hybrid. So your vehicle still takes fuel, it's going to run its engine, you will be a-okay. In the wintertime, it will utilize a little bit more engine power than it would in the summer, simply because of the heating system. So it is more efficient to have the engine running to get heat into the car. It's going to be quicker, it's going to eat less range. So it will kick on every once in a while. That's what I've noticed with my Tucson. Someone said brush your hair, Mark. But pretty much the main takeaway on plug-in hybrid versus regular hybrid is number one, budget. If you do want to save an extra few dollars, the regular hybrid is still extremely efficient. It's rated at 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers. And what I'm rating so far after driving my vehicle for about 8,000 kilometers, I know, it happened very quick. I'm rated at 3.9 liters per 100 kilometers on my plug-in hybrid Tucson. keep in mind it's used quite a bit of gas engine power simply because we've had weeks now where it's been -10 or colder. So, sorry you guys, I don't want to freeze in my car. I do have to turn on the heat. Let's see, what else? Oh, but also, if you have a very standard commute, maybe you don't do that many road trips or that much outside of scheduled driving, I do think a plug-in hybrid makes a lot of sense because, again, if you're under 50 kilometers both ways, one way, you've got the ability to charge at work, it's convenient to just EV range the whole time. Or if you hate going to the gas station like me, that's probably one of my least favorite things to do. I don't necessarily call that a chore, but something, you know, oh, I have to go to the gas station. You never want to go.
You kind of have to plan your whole day around it.
Yeah, I have to move all these different things. Let's see. Can you use some kind of plug-in battery heater for your EV in the winter? Wait, for EV or PHEV? Plug-in battery heater? Well, a lot of our vehicles do have battery preconditioning. Now it's more so for DC fast charging. One thing I will say, it's pretty hard to lose or to avoid that range drop come winter time. There's so many like variables. If you're at work, are you going to be able to use your battery heater? If you're out and about, are you going to be able to use it? No. So there's no battery heaters that I am aware of. No, yeah.
I don't know. I know there's like
block heaters.
Yeah, block heaters, but they should make block heaters, but for EV batteries to precondition.
Can't exactly access that easy as like an everyday person, though. No. I do not recommend touching your high voltage at all, unless you're a trained technician. My phone screen is so dark, you guys. No, if it looks like I'm squinting, that's why I can't see anything.
What animal do you think that Kia is?
Kia? A kangaroo?
Kangaroo.
Maybe it's just because it starts with a K. I don't know. What animal, if the Hyundai Tucson was an animal, you guys, what animal would it be? I think it would be a golden retriever. Because it's just all around loved, you know? Like, I feel like there's a Tucson for everybody. Fits in a lot of lifestyles. You know, not too high maintenance. Sporty, fun.
Yeah.
You know?
I see it, yeah. I see it.
It's a dog you can take out anywhere. It's not, like, limited to... I don't know. Yeah.
Not too high energy, but just enough to, like...
Yeah. A gazelle. Lemur. Okay, a deer. Oh, wow. All right, this is just for fun, but if Mark was an animal, what would Mark be? I feel like you'd be a meerkat.
Why?
It's just the vibe I get from you. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. But you really don't have to. But you do have to like and maybe subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah, you can't exit this YouTube channel.
We're never ending this video. What animal would I be, Mark? No hate comments, please.
Gabi. What does she remind me of? I want to say a hamster, but I don't know why a hamster. Maybe because, like, sometimes, you know, you like to be by yourself, grinding on that work, and sometimes you like to play on the...
sometimes I just like running on my wheel.
Yeah, sometimes you like running on that wheel.
Thank you.
Guys, if this gets to 100 likes, we'll build a human-sized wheel.
And I'll run on it.
100 live likes, not after this is posted.
Yes. And last but not least, I do want to say, if you guys are in Ontario and you're shopping for a new vehicle, maybe a Hyundai vehicle, definitely check out Brantford Hyundai, especially on the Tucson. We have a lot of inventory, a lot to choose from, and we've got some pretty cool promos on right now too. So if you want to buy it from a good dealership, why not the one that gives you all the info for free on YouTube?
Gabi would be a cheetah.
Thank you.
I could see cheetah. Fast.
I'm not fast.
Aerodynamic.
Okay. You know cheetahs can't actually roar? They have this weird noise.
Yeah. It's like a chirp.
Roar! Okay, end of video. Bye, you guys. Thanks for watching.